Well, welcome everybody to opening weekend at Keeneland as their meet gets underway on the road to the Breeders Cup, and they have a weekend that is chock full of Grade 1 stakes action. What better place to bet that action than at TwinSpires? And come join us for previews all meet long of these great races. Scott Shapiro, Darin, Zoccali with you once again as we are going to take you through the Breeders Futurity. And Scott, obviously, this is a race that, especially recently, has certainly had an impact on the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. We've seen horses come out of this race to continue success in their two-year-old season. And it seems like every year this race is difficult to handicap and always a full field.
My goodness, was this one a challenge? Full field, as you mentioned, Darin. So many ways to go. You've got a couple of horses or plenty of horses coming out of stakes races. You've got some nice looking maiden breakers, some on debut, some in a couple starts to break their maiden. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to once again quote, I feel like I've done this for all these Keeneland races, but I'm going to quote my colleague, Joe Christofek. If you get this race right, you're definitely going to get paid.
Definitely going to get paid. And if you get it right and have a strong opinion, you're going to have a really big opportunity to make a score on some horizontal exotics. Let's dive right in, Scott. The pace scenario in this race is going to be, from my point of view, fast. You have horses that are stretching out. You have a horse coming in from California that has that Southern California speed, could set things up nicely from a horse coming from off the pace. They got that quick run into the first turn. Looks like there's going to be a lot of action with these jockeys vying for similar positions.
You would think so, Darin, although that usually looks to be the case when these horses, these two-year-olds, stretch out to two turns for the first time, because naturally a lot of the best ones that get to this point out of their maiden breaking efforts or their big efforts at stakes races gone one turn have some sort of natural speed, which will lead you to believe that they're going to be involved on the front end when they go stretch out to two turns. But you said it, you've got Newgate coming in from Southern California. Bourbon Bash to his inside looks like a very quick horse for D. Wayne Lucas. Plenty of others to the outside, two fills and Powerful, who will look to need to gain position. It'll be very surprising if it's not at very least a contentious early pace.
And for that reason, I landed on a horse that's a proven Grade 1 commodity already in Forte. This is a horse that escaped at a big price up at Saratoga in the Hopeful. Come out of that race, Blazing Sevens was the winner of the Champagne. Gulfport was the beaten favorite in the Champagne, but ran third. Both horses ran well over what was a very sloppy racetrack that day at Aqueduct. I think Forte is a proven commodity. Like I said, I think he's going to get an advantageous pace scenario. He's going to have to navigate a bit more traffic, but certainly this is a horse that has shown some precocity. He's shown that he can get to the winner's circle, and that's the type you really want to lean on in a spot like this.
Yeah, should get a pretty good trip under Irad Ortiz Jr. Todd Pletcher hasn't won this race since winning it in 2013 and 2014 with We Miss Artie and Carpe Diem, but obviously very capable. Did get a pretty good trip in the Hopeful when the inside opened up, to say the least, but he took advantage that day, and now one of many in here trying two turns for the first time. I give him a look in here. I landed on number 2, Loggins, who may get caught up along the inside in the early proceedings, trying two turns for the first time himself. For trainer Brad Cox, who used this race with essential quality, coming off a maiden breaking effort at Churchill Downs to propel him to that win, and then eventually the Breeders' Cup Juvenile win. And I'm hoping the same could be true for Loggins. In fact, the last 3 winners of this race have come into it off a maiden special weight win at Churchill Downs. You know, that might be somewhat circumstantial, but I think it proves that you don't need to be coming out of taking on winners, you know, to have success in this race. The son of Go Zapper, bred to go two turns, the dam beyond blame, won the 2018 Regret two-turn race at Churchill on the turf, but I think it suggests that the route of ground on both sides of the pedigree will not be an issue, and was just extremely impressed, not only with this one's professionalism, but the number he put up just about on any metric, including a 99 Brisnet speed rating.
Yeah, across the board, regardless of what speed figures you use, he's certainly, Loggins stands out as right at the top of the class with a couple of the others, including Forte. I thought a real interesting dynamic is what's going to happen from these inside starting slots here. Down towards the rail, Frosted Departure, he's in a bit of a good race, bad race pattern. And it seems to me that when he does not get the trip that he wants, he simply throws in the towel. Now, this is a horse that is stretching out around two turns. He's drawn down to the inside. I've seen some pace projectors that don't have him making the lead, and maybe it's telling me that they don't think he's quick enough. But you have to think, based on the races that he's had success in, they have to go. And that, I think, speeds everything up from the rail out.
You would think so. I mean, sped to the early lead, did so pretty easily. Wasn't really asked to make the lead with the first time Brian Hernandez Jr. aboard, Kenny McPeek's first call rider. Brian will be aboard again. Brian's not overly aggressive, so he's not going to force this one to the front and get him caught up in a battle if he doesn't need to. But like you're saying, you know, if he doesn't get aggressive, at least out of the gate to get position, he's going to get shuffled all the way back. And I agree. He's got that ping pong type pattern where he hasn't run 2 good races in a row, making you already suspect as he tries 2 turns off a bit of a short rest.
Yeah, short rest coming back off a big figure with a 2-year-old can always spell potential for a bounce or a regression. That's a look at the Breeders Futurity. Scott Shapiro is on Loggins. I am on Forte. Guess what kind of a wager they have in the Breeders Futurity? They have a daily double. They've got daily doubles in every race. Why is that important? Well, at TwinSpires, we have a brand new promotion for you throughout the Keeneland meet, the Keeneland Daily Double Down. This is a offer where you make a daily double wager, and if you win 2 daily doubles on the day, we're going to give you a 50% bonus on those 2 doubles and any other doubles you hit up to $50. Every race, every day, Scott. If you're a daily double player and you like Keeneland, you got to bet at TwinSpires.
Well, no doubt about it, a great promotion, you know, in its own right. And then you look at the full fields in these races and you think, you know, a lot of times we think pick 4, pick 5s, these big wagers, they're hard to hit always, and even harder on these cards where it's real, tough to be confident in a single or anything. The doubles will pay big enough as is. When you tack on a 50% bonus, great opportunity for TwinSpires customers.
Yeah, we're looking forward to everyone taking part in the Keeneland Daily Double Down. Thanks so much for joining us on this Breeders Futurity preview. Wish you the best of luck, and be sure to stick around with us all weekend long. We've got grade 1 previews from coast to coast all weekend long here at TwinSpires.